Good morning, everyone. Today I will be talking to you guys about this book, On Western Terrorism by Noam Chomsky and Vltchek. I hope I pronounced that name right. I searched everywhere online and could not find a pronunciation key, so I'm kind of just shooting in the dark. This book is a conversation between the two of them. For those of you who don't know, Noam Chomsky is kind of a big name in the political science world. He's a Institute Professor Emeritus at MIT. He's a very leftist academic, linguist, philosopher, historian, cognitive scientist, logician, social critic. Pretty much he's had his foot in the door on everything. Brilliant man. He's an American. And then Vltchek was born in St. Petersburg, but he grew up kind of in the Soviet bloc during the Cold War. He's a novelist, a philosopher, an investigative journalist, filmmaker. And this book is a conversation between the two of them on kind of Western terrorism, which is something we don't really talk about ever. It's always kind of hidden in the disguise of, a war or an operation or black ops. And in our minds, because we are the West, it's not terrorism, even though to a lot of people in the East it very much is. And so this book in particular examines the effects of colonialism and imperial control and how kind of the shift away from that has affected the world. Propaganda in the media and the differences between Western kind of media and propaganda and Eastern Russian and Chinese and Iranian media and propaganda. They talk a lot about Arab Spring and the Middle East, and they talk a lot about the U.S.'s declining power and the role that they will play possibly in the future. One of the most fascinating parts of the book I thought was the conversation about the media and the differences between Western media and Eastern media. In the West, you get a lot of the same media, and there's not really opposing views. It's all capitalistic and in the same system, whereas in the East, they have kind of their socialist media, especially in like Russia and China, but then they also get the Western media, and so they get to see these critiques and all those things, whereas we don't have that in the United States at all. And it was really interesting to look at because Chomsky and Vltchek talked a lot about how they're actually censored more in the United States than when they go and give interviews in Iran or China or any of these places. And it's an interesting thing to look at because we don't have any really socialist or anarchist or any news sources like that in the United States, whereas they have capitalist news sources and anarchist and socialist news sources in these other places, and how because of that we're kind of the less informed populace, and how that's negative, that negatively impacts our society. The West has been extremely great at their propaganda, and their advertising is a form of that. And so really fascinating, really an interesting conversation. And then another thing that I really enjoyed that they talked about is they looked at the effects of postcolonialism around the world. And so they looked at Indonesia and South America and India and Pakistan and China and the Middle East and Africa. And they looked at why India and Pakistan turned out so differently from China, and how the fields are different, and how the Middle East kind of came to be the way it is after World War I and World War II, and how Israel and the Palestinian conflict affects the entire Middle East, and how a lot of people there are actually more afraid of the U.S. and Israel than they are of Iran. And fascinating kind of points of view. They're not views that we see often in the West, especially in America. They're very well thought out. They talked a lot about South America, which is really cool because South America is a place that's still really reeling from post-colonialism. But you don't hear about that a lot in school. Like, I didn't know what the dirty war in Argentina was effectively until 2 years ago. And these were things that very much affected and do affect the world today. These huge tensions between socialism and fascism and communism and capitalism as the U.S. is trying to come in with the IMF and kind of exert control. So really great read, really fantastic book. I highly recommend it. Again, On Western Terrorism, just a very awesome, unique view that you don't get to hear often in the West that I think everyone should definitely expose them to a little bit. So check it out. If you like this video and would like more, if you guys like this video and would like to see more videos like it on nonfiction and political books, please click the like button below. And then if you guys enjoy this channel, enjoy talking about books, have any books they want to recommend, please comment in the doobly-doo, and don't forget to subscribe.